AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Toby Rowland, radio voice of the Oklahoma Sooners, will be here in 30 minutes. Preview tonight's ball game with LSU and OU from Hoover. Vandy and Kentucky doing the deed right now. Vandy's up 5-4. They were down 4-1 in that game, so they're bottom 6. Vandy leading by a run on Kentucky. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. It was Missouri upsetting Ole Miss in the opening game of the SEC tournament earlier today. Keep you posted. 5-star corner Joshua Dobson canceled his official visit to LSU. Looks like LSU's no longer in the mix for the nation's top cornerback. Shay was here last hour. We talked about it. I have some thoughts we'll get to here in a dozen minutes. The collective college basketball loving world right now is melting about Will Wade, who continues to add international prospects. And adding international prospects alone isn't necessarily in and of itself the thing that's getting a lot of attention. International basketball players have been a part of college basketball for decades. I mean, I remember back in the 80s when Dale Brown was adding Arvydas Sabonis, and they couldn't get him here because of a war in his country, something along those lines. But that's nothing. I mean, Garrett Hammock. I mean, there's nothing new. International players. The asterisk here is that Will Wade is adding old international players who have years of professional basketball experience. There was a report from something called Mozart Sports. It's a European outlet. I don't know anything about Mozart Sports or Mozart Sport. That Yam Madar has committed to LSU. Madar's 25. He'll be 26 in December. And was a 2020 draft pick of the Boston Celtics. He never played for Boston, went overseas, and has been playing professional ball internationally since. The report is that it's a $5 million deal. Now, specifically on the $5 million deal, I would like to point out just something logically that I hope this makes sense, all right? I don't know what the agreement is with LSU, Yam Madar, assuming that Mozart Sports report is accurate. I don't know. Remember, schools cannot guarantee NIL deals. NIL is name, image, and likeness. You might be able to offer, hey, we think your brand is worth X, and you might be able to do X here, but you can't contractually offer NIL. You can guarantee a revenue share number because that's all. I'm using this term loosely. It's almost like salary. But we know how the revenue share, the $20 million, is divvied up, the 75, 15, 5, 5. LSU basketball is not giving $5 million of revenue share to one player. That's not a real thing. So I would tell you pump the brakes on the validity of a $5 million deal for Yam Madar. That's number one. Number two is, I don't know if he can get eligible. I mean, you're talking about a guy who apparently, Kevin Sweeney of SI has said that Madar's eligibility would, quote, come as a result of exemptions for military service as well as national team participation, which can provide another avenue for a permissible year of delayed enrollment. So maybe Yam Madar will be able to enroll. I certainly wonder if, so that would sort of satisfy the age issue there, almost like a Mormon mission. My question would be, what about having been drafted by the NBA? There are two other players, one that have committed. One is less ambiguous. It's UTSA guard Austin Nunez. Now, Austin Nunez, this is interesting because he played this past year at UTSA, but he has had a winding path. Started at Arizona State, went to Ole Miss, back to Arizona State, then to UTSA. He had an injury 2 years ago, so he had a redshirt year. So he has a fifth year of eligibility. He's committed to LSU. Last year at UTSA, played in 22 games with 21 starts, averaged a hair under 10 points and 3 assists per game, 89% free throw shooter. He's a 6'2 guard, 30% from three. Good depth piece there in Austin Nunez. But again, a guy going into his fifth year of college basketball, another veteran player with 84 career games played. Old veteran player. And then the one that's getting a ton of attention today is R.J. Lewis. Now, R.J. Lewis was the Big East Player of the Year last season in 2025. He was the Big East Player of the Year, spent time at UMass, and then was the Big East Player of the Year at St. John's, goes into the NBA draft, and goes undrafted. He signs a two-way contract with the Jazz and then is traded to the Celtics. I think I have that right. It might be backwards. It might have been with the Celtics and then traded to the Jazz. Either way, no, it was Jazz, then traded to the Celtics. So it went UMass, St. John's, Jazz, Celtics. Now, the asterisk here is that while he signed a two-way deal with the Jazz and then was traded to the Celtics, he never played. Injury meant he never played in a G League game or an NBA game, for that matter. It is certainly and widely assumed that R.J. Lewis is going to have to go the legal route to gain eligibility. Because it would stand to reason he's gone into the NBA draft, he's signed a professional contract, and now he's trying to go back to college like Charles Bediako did a year ago. Now, I will never allow anyone to accuse me of being a hypocrite. And when Alabama brought Charles Bediako from the G League, when he was playing games in the G League, back to college basketball, I spoke on how absurd that is. Now, I am hand in air. I do not have all of the information about these players. There's a report from an international outlet that I don't know if it's legitimate about Yam Madar. Nunez is legitimate. He's got a year of eligibility remaining. He's a depth piece, fine. And then there's this piece here that we're talking about with R.J. Lewis. I'm gonna do my best to get as much information about this as I possibly can, so I can make the most informed, give you the most informed opinion I can. What I will say, absolutely, is if what LSU and Will Wade are trying to do right now is the same thing Bama was doing with Charles Bediako, which is take a professional player and try to get them back into college, which is what it looks like it's going to do, they're trying to do here, I will absolutely, unequivocally body slam that decision against the wall. Because, and I'm going to remind you, I'm the guy who is the most pro NIL, transfer portal, rev share, all that stuff. Let the players get paid, let them make money, let them transfer, all that stuff. I am also the guy who has very firmly said, okay, you can make money, you can transfer, all that stuff. The NCAA has rules. All of these schools are voluntarily NCAA member institutions and abide by the NCAA's rules and rulings. And if these players are ruled ineligible, you do not go to court to sue the NCAA to gain eligibility. They are ineligible, you don't play. If the NCAA rules these players ineligible and LSU goes to court to gain their eligibility, I will be 100% opposed to that decision. I don't care if it's a 26-year-old who scored 20 points in international ball and can help you win. That is stupid. It is stupid. It is absurd. It does not need to happen. I understand throughout the history of college athletics, there are weird circumstances and there are exceptions. And we see it in other sports. Matt Moscona is a great example of this. Matt Moscona went and played professional baseball, came back into college and played football. Zach Von Rosenberg did it. Joe Lawrence did it. That happens. Players leave to play professionally in one sport, come back in another sport. I don't necessarily love that, but that's allowed. There's a precedent for it. But leaving college to go play a professional sport and then trying to come back to college play the same sport is stupid. There is not a soul walking the face of planet Earth that can look at that and say, yep, we think that's a good idea. Unless if you were just sheerly and solely focused on winning, precedent, and the path to getting there, be damned. There's got to be a better way. And I'm not going to sit here and just backpat Will Wade and say, yep, that's the way to do it. Just go win. Just win, baby. No. For the same reason I crushed Alabama with the Bediako thing, I'll crush Will Wade and LSU if they try to take this thing to court. Now, if the NCAA rules these players eligible because of something I'm just not aware of, okay, great. Like, if it's within the rules and the NCAA says, good to go, okay, you're good to go within the NCAA rules. But if the NCAA rules against you, just like the NCAA ruled against Trinidad Chambliss and Joey Aguilar and Brennan Sorsby's ineligible right now, and they all keep going to court and try to gain eligibility, I'm not okay with that. And I'll never be okay with that. And LSU and Will Wade are not exempt. So I am willing today to take a step back, breathe, exhale, pause, wait, gather all the information, see what the ruling is for these players' eligibility, and then make a very informed decision when we get those rulings. But if LSU goes to court, I'm just preparing you. If LSU goes to court, I'm going to unleash fury on Will Wade and Verge Osbury and Dr. Wade Roos and all of the LSU administration staff, everybody that's allowing this to happen the same way I did yesterday on the president at Texas Tech University, who's allowing a dude that admitted to gambling on his team. They're letting him go to court to sue the NCAA to try to gain his eligibility because you're no better than, if you let these guys play, you are no better than they are. Not okay with it. At some point, some adult in the room has to stand up and say, this is where we draw the line. And again, this is coming from me, the let them make all the money, transfer as much as they want guy. But the line is, the end is when your eligibility is over and the NCAA rules your eligibility is over and you try to regain more eligibility by suing. That's where we have reached the line, the limit. Took us like 5 years to get there, but I've now realized where my limit is. All right, it's after further review. We're brought about First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Hey, Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. If you want to buy that combine, you want to buy that farm equipment, First South Farm Credit can help you finance it as well. They can help you finance the land and the farm equipment. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. If it's that recreational timber property, maybe it's an investment property. Tax season just passed. A lot of us, maybe you need tax write-off. Talk to your CPA to see if buying recreational timber property might be a great tax investment for you. You know, you're going to incur expenses. Maybe it's good for you for next year. Call First South Farm Credit. Your first call when it comes to buying land should be First South Farm Credit. They've been first in agriculture for more than 100 years. If it's that recreational property, that hunting property, that 20 acres to build your family's dream home, FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Now I got a quick break. Toby Rowland in 15 minutes. He's the radio voice of the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll preview LSU Oklahoma from Hoover. When we come back, though, Joshua Dobson, 5-star number 1 corner in the country, has canceled his official visit to LSU. It looks like LSU's off the board now. Why? We'll talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
REV, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. A few months ago, Rev came in my neighborhood. They laid fiber, and we immediately switched to Rev. Why? Why not? Like, seriously. Fiber network, lightning fast speeds up to 5 gigs, better price, local service. The better question is, why wouldn't you? I mean, there's that other cable company that does cable internet, all that stuff, that everyone loves to complain about all the time. But for so long, you felt like that was your only option. They ain't your only option. You have a local option that has lightning fast internet speeds, better prices, local service, and an all-fiber network. It's Rev, R-E-V. Go to RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. Home or for your business, Rev Fiber can help you out. Get that quote today. R-E-V, RevFiber.com. Big shout out to our friends at River Parish Contractors, who were recently awarded the Safety Excellence Award from the Gulf Coast Safety Council. You know this as well as I do. You do not get hired to do work inside the fence if you don't have an exemplary safety record. Well, here you have River Parish Contractors winning the Safety Excellence Award from the Gulf Coast Safety Council. You want to get building? You want River Parish Contractors. They're local. They're awesome people that do great work. rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Industrial fabrication and construction experts. It's River Parish Contractors. And River Parish Contractors, y'all, they are hiring. Work all the overtime you want, day or night shifts, all the benefits, 401k, paid time off, and you're home with your family every night. Call Big Jake at River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up a land. She's even kind of crazy about my
Hey, tomorrow morning, a Wednesday morning, Hester and Flynn are going to be over at First American Bank in Dutchtown for the American flag giveaway. They're giving away 500 American flags starting at 8 a.m. Eagle 98.1 will be out there as well. Michelle Southern will be out there. So when they're gone, they're gone. So, of course, with Memorial Day coming up on Monday, what an awesome time to fly Old Glory and get by and get you a free American flag. And they're giving away 500 free American flags. They're calling it Let Freedom Fly. Again, with First American Bank, Eagle 98.1, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge at the Dutchtown branch of First American Bank. That starts at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So that's tomorrow morning. Go get your free American flag. A week ago, Steve Wiltfong dropped a Fong bomb when he said 5-star cornerback Joshua Dobson, he projected him to Texas A&M. Well, a week later, so this was a day ago, we learned that Joshua Dobson has canceled his official visit to LSU. Instead, is going to take an official visit to Michigan. So he's down to his final schools. He will not visit LSU, is no longer considering LSU. For Dobson, remember, I'll give you the quick bio. Dobson is an elite top-end level prospect, okay? You're talking about a guy that if you look at the On3 or the Rivals industry ranking, he's a 5-star. He is the number 1 cornerback in America. He's the number 3 cornerback. He's the number 9 overall prospect, regardless of position. So you're talking about a guy out of North Carolina that is the best or among the best in the country at his position, 5-star, top 10 player. Okay. And he's no longer considering LSU. The question clearly is why? Well, there's 2 reasons. It's money and playing time. And that stands to reason that would be the answer for darn near anyone. But I want to dig a little deeper because when I saw this news, it reminded me, boom, it brought me right back to the middle of spring. This is on April 14th. Lane Kiffin, during one of his spring press conferences, was asked about tight ends. And I've told you this before, but one of my observations of Lane Kiffin is that when he talks, he has an objective in mind. It doesn't matter what question you ask him, whatever message he wants to convey, he's going to find a tangent, a branch off the tree to get his message out there. So Lane was asked a question about tight ends, and it was like all the different skill sets that they had. You know, Tradez is 6'7", and they brought in Zach Grace, who's more of an H-back, and J.C. Anderson, the freshman, coming in is really tall, and then you got J.D. LaFleur, who's more of a prototype. Anyway, that was the question. The question was about tight ends and the different styles of tight ends. Lane Kiffin answered that question in a very different way, which gives you a glimpse into exactly why Joshua Dobson is no longer considering LSU. I'll explain in a second, but this was Kiffin.
I challenge our guys to make sure we evaluate who they are really, really well. Who is the player as they're coming out of high school? What is their mindset? How competitive are they? Because what's going to happen is most likely it's not going to go like they want in the first year. And then get into your analytics of, okay, well, if they're going to, or you're going to pay them, and then they're going to leave after year one, then what did you really get out of them from a business sense versus the money going somewhere else? So I really tried to find that in tight ends, but in all of our players, okay, who really are they in nowadays setup that it is, so that they are competitive enough that this is the place they want to be at, and are they going to stay through some adversity, which is what they need to play through too as a good player. So obviously character was always part of the evaluation, but I've moved it a lot higher now because of the ability to leave, where before you got the 17-year-old, well, he was really stuck with you for 4 years. So he had to eventually buy Henry, which just was never going to play. Now they really don't have to. They just go somewhere else.
Okay. I don't think Lane Kiffin is saying Joshua Dobson is a low-character person. I think what that illustrates is where LSU, under Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock, are focusing their resources. Let's look at, for 2026, this $40+ million roster, who the highest paid players are. Well, they're veteran players at premium positions. Sam Levitt, reportedly $5 million. Fourth-year player, starting quarterback, yup. Jordan Seaton, reportedly $4 million. Entering his third year, starting left tackle, potential top 10 pick. Yep. Prince Wiluman-Mielen, reportedly a 7-figure deal. All SEC, 9.5 sacks, 13 TFLs a year ago. Senior. Yep. You look at the cornerback position. You've got DJ Pickett. You've got PJ Woodland. Both of those guys conceivably are back in 2027. So follow me here. 2027, DJ Pickett's a junior. He's back. Maybe the number one corner in America, right? PJ Woodland, assuming he returns in 27 for his senior year, would be a fourth-year player, 2-year starter, 3-year major contributor. You're going to pay both those guys. You prioritize getting both them back this year. Jakeem Jackson, highly rated guy coming out of high school, undeniably your number 3 this year. He's basically had his career, his playing time cut because of injury, but he's your number 3 right now. He's got eligibility in 2027. And then there's Haven Finney. Haven Finney was the number 1 corner in America for 2027 who reclassified. So next year when he's a freshman at LSU, should be his senior year in high school. But he was rated higher than Dobson in this class. He will already have been on LSU's campus for a year. That's 4. If Dobson came here, at best, he'd be your number 5 corner from jump. Now, maybe he could pass somebody. That certainly happens. Look, PJ Woodland beat out Ashton Stamps, which is why Stamps is now at Arizona State. So it happens. I'm not saying he couldn't surpass somebody. I'm just saying Dobson would be walking into a position group in 27 where there's 4 guys with experience ahead of him. And you could even throw in maybe Aiden Anding as well, who will be coming off an injury but should be back next year. That's a crowded room, so you're probably not looking to overpay for an incoming freshman when you have so much invested already in that position with guys like Pickett and Woodland and Jackson and so on, and Finney. Does that make sense? And so then I can point out examples that would make sense of what Lane said. When you pay guys that come in, it doesn't go well, and they leave, what about Lance Hurd? Lance Hurd was a 5-star offensive tackle. Came to LSU for 1 year, sat, transferred. Played at Tennessee for a couple of years. Now he's at Kentucky. Was that a good investment for LSU for a year? What happened this weekend? 5-star offensive lineman Mark Matthews out of Lauderdale committed to A&M. Congrats, A&M. You landed a 5-star offensive tackle out of the state of Florida. You paid him a ton. Great. What if he doesn't play next year as a freshman, sits the bench? Then you've made a large investment in a player that didn't contribute for you next year. And then he leaves. Then what happens? Same situation as Lance Hurd. I think what we're seeing, and by the way, I'm not criticizing the decision that A&M made to pay Matthews or if that's where Dobson lands. It might make the most sense for them in 2027. But there's also a very real possibility that you look up in a couple of years and those guys end up transferring and playing somewhere else. That's the nature of college football today. Lane has said, effectively, we'd rather invest at premium positions in proven college football players, primarily out of the portal, and sometimes retention. Trey'Dez Green, Harlem Berry, Braylon Moore, Whit Weeks, Pickett, Woodland, the guys they retained for this year. Everybody else gone. They identified the ones they wanted to retain. They paid them. They kept them. And that's what they'll continue to do. So it stings because it sure felt like LSU was leading for Dobson all the way along. But now you start to look at the financials of how this would play out and the playing time that would be readily available for Dobson initially available. And it makes sense why you're going to focus your resources at that position somewhere else. And then who knows? Maybe in a year or two, Dobson's in the portal and you make a run at him then. But I'd be more interested in 2028 at corner when Pickett and Woodland and Jackson are all gone. Then where are you investing your resources? Portal cornerbacks? Freshman cornerbacks? I don't know. We'll find out in time. But it's a player in Dobson I think you'd really like to have. But it also makes sense that you have to allocate your cap, quote unquote, that's a term that Kiffin's used, on guys that are going to help you now. Because you're not signing Dobson or whoever to a multi-year deal. It's 1 year. So invest your resources in guys that can help you now. It's a different way of going about doing it, but it's a way that's worked for Lane Kiffin. Joshua Dobson no longer considering LSU. Tigers should be good at corner in 2026. Okay, it's after further review, and 27 for that matter. Let me knock out a quick break. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. When we come back, Toby Rowland will join us. He's the radio voice of the Oklahoma Sooners. Tigers and Sooners from Hoover coming up here later this evening. We'll preview it next on AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. You know, there are all these personality surveys where people routinely are asked the most stressful life experiences. And regularly, one of the things at the top of the list, aside from, public speaking and all, is moving. Moving is routinely surveyed as one of the most stressful experiences that people have. Darren James makes it his priority to make selling your home, buying a new home, moving, not only a stress-free experience, but an enjoyable one. Think about it. If you're selling a home, you're moving, whatever, it's a major life occasion that you're moving, maybe a new job, starting school somewhere else, whatever the case may be. Darren James wants that to be a stress-free, enjoyable experience. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Tigers and Sooners scheduled for an 8 o'clock first pitch. Vandy and Kentucky are still in action right now in Game 2. Man, that's going to be a late start. Hope Toby Rowland's got his coffee pot hot. Voice of the Sooners, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Toby, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. I'm thinking maybe more like 8 o'clock tomorrow night rather than tonight.
Hey,
the current pace.
Is there any? I was looking at the forecast. I'm not asking you to play meteorologist, but like, is there any weather in the area tonight? I know it looks like there is some tomorrow, but any today?
Yeah, I just did a quick glance. I just flew in today, but it looks like today's good. It looks like we're fine today. The rest of the week is going to be dodgy. So it's important that we get 4 in today and then just kind of hold our breath for the rest of the week, it looks like.
Yeah. It's going to be Gavin Jones on the bump today. What's Skip Johnson hoping to get out of the junior lefty?
Maybe a couple innings. I think this is a bullpen day. They have a couple of times this year gone with an opener. So I would say there is a possibility that he would back Gavin Jones up with L.J. Mercurius, who has been a weekend starter for them. He has not pitched well lately, so he fell out of the rotation this past weekend against Tennessee in favor of his younger brother, Xander, who got the start and was good. But I would say that LJ didn't pitch much, so we're kind of keeping our antennas up that maybe that's the game plan tonight, to see if Gavin can get him off to a good start. They have had an awful time, and LSU's series down in Baton Rouge was a good example. They've had an awful time in game ones in conference play. They went 3-7 in openers, and really it was the first couple of innings of conference openers where they're walking a ton of guys and falling way behind early. So this might be an effort to just get off to a better start with a little bit of a veteran lefty tonight. I don't know. Maybe he intends to bullpen it the whole way and throw 6 or 7 guys. We'll see.
You mentioned the LSU series. That was a series where the Sooners scored only 9 runs in 3 games and won the series. How different, if at all, is Oklahoma today than they were week 2 of conference play?
I think they're kind of the opposite team. You know, back early, first half of the season and the first 2 or 3 weeks of conference play, it was a team that really leaned on its pitching. They were not scoring many runs at all, and that series is a perfect example of that. The last month or so, everything has flopped, and it's not a good thing because they lost 4 straight series here in SEC play to close the year. But their offense has come alive for them, but they can't can't hold anybody down. They've given up 9 or more runs. I think it's 7 straight games now, 8 of the last 9. I know LSU's got a somewhat similar streak. I think they've given up 10 or more in 6 straight games. So this could be a high-scoring affair tonight. We'll see. But the pitching has kind of disintegrated on them a little bit. It looked like early in the year they had a really strong rotation with Mercurius, Cameron Johnson, and Cord Rager. And those guys have been spotty. Like, all of them have had dominant outings, multiple dominant outings this year, and all of them have had outings where they haven't got out of the first or second inning. And it's just become very inconsistent. And even the guys in the bullpen have become – they'll throw a lot of guys. They are very deep in the bullpen. We've had weekends where they've thrown 16 or 17 guys in an SEC series. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's been overly effective here lately. But the good news is the offense has started to really swing the bats. Dayton LaChance is on a heater, the big Canadian catcher. Deshaun Harris, who wasn't a factor in Baton Rouge earlier this year, is an everyday guy now in right field and is batting over 400 the last 10 games or so. Camden Johnson has continued to really swing the bat. Really all year he's been good for them. So we'll see if that continues or not, but the last month they have leaned more on their offense than the arms.
Sooners, Toby Rowland's our guest, voice of the Sooners. Sooners are 14-16 in league play, and we always talk about kind of 13 is that magic number to get you in regional play. What is Skip Johnson's squad playing for in Hoover this week?
I don't think, it would be interesting if they won it, which is a long shot. But if they won it, I think they could potentially be a host. Their metrics are good. They're at 20 in the RPI, so you think if they ripped off 5 wins here, they'd probably be top 15. Their strength of schedule is 6th in the country, and that's not going to get hurt this week. So I think there is some thought that if they won it, maybe they could get one of those top 16 hosts. But in all reality, probably they're not going to win it, and they are a 2 seed. And so they're trying to be a better 2 seed. Now that we are seeding 32 teams, you don't want to get stuck having to play Georgia Tech or UCLA or North Carolina right out of the gates. You would rather be matched up with one of the lower 1 seeds. So I think that's what they're playing for. You know, the latest projections that came out this week had just that, had them going to Georgia Tech. And that doesn't sound like much fun at all with a pitching staff that's struggling right now. So if you could get 2 or 3 wins here in Hoover and maybe bump yourself up the 2 seed ladder a little bit, then none of it's going to be easy, but maybe you get sent to, let's say, a Nebraska or a Kansas or something like that in their part of the country that may be a little more manageable.
Toby, what do you think is the best case for Skip Johnson tonight? How does the game play out?
You know, I think if the bats stay hot, I know they're going up against William Schmidt, and I think that LSU is going to throw all barrels at them. I mean, it's all or nothing for them.
Yeah.
So if the bats stayed hot and they were able to get out to an early lead, maybe force LSU to press a little bit, realizing that their season is on the line, then that's probably the best case scenario. I honestly think probably Oklahoma goes into this game an underdog tonight because of the way LSU handled the pitching over the weekend, how fresh they all are, and what's at stake for them. I mean, they obviously are the more motivated team going into this. Doesn't mean that Oklahoma's not going to be fired up to try to end their season. I'm sure they will, but it's a tough test. I mean, LSU's they dominate this event, and they've got one path left to try to get in the dance, and it starts tonight against Oklahoma.
Yeah, desperation for the Tigers. For the 4th time this year, we'll see LSU and OU this time from Hoover. Toby Rowland, voice of the Sooners. I hope it's not too late of a night for you or for me, but have a great call.
Great being on with you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Toby Rowland, voice of the Sooners. God bless. It's probably going to be a really late night. I mean, it's just whenever you see the field pop up and your team draws the last game of the day when they got to get 4 in, just prepare and understand that it's I wish they would start the thing at like 8 a.m. As much as that would suck to have to start early, I'd rather that than play games into the wee hours. I mean, they're in the 8th right now with Vandy leading Kentucky 8-4. And then when this one goes final, you've got Tennessee, South Carolina, and then LSU. So figure 3.5 hours for Tennessee, South Carolina. If this one finishes at 5, let's say the next one gets started at 5:30. Conservatively, you're talking about a 9 o'clock start. Conservatively, right? For LSU and South Carolina, or for LSU and Oklahoma. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. I mean, there's always great stuff over at Rouse. I tell you all the time about the weekly ad. So you can get that on Facebook. You can get that at the website as well. So if you're shopping, buying on a budget, you want to take advantage of the great deals, who doesn't? You can always get the weekly ad to know what specials they got over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, sushi, $5 Tuesdays for sushi. Grab and go. Get on in there over to Rouse's. Pick up your favorite sushi. Everybody in the family can get something different. Get their favorite. The hot bar is always rolling over at Rouse's as well, so everybody can pick out whatever they want for dinner tonight or for lunch. It's always a great option. Tuesday, the hot bar menu items today on Tuesday, how about sesame orange chicken, General Tso's chicken egg rolls, fried rice, seafood rangoon, teriyaki vegetables, and bread pudding. Oh, my God. Her. Sounds pretty good, actually. Get on by Rouse's, official supermarket of the Saints, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. Get some coffee, some energy drinks, and get it all there. Get all your caffeine so you can stay up to watch the Tigers tonight. Hopefully extend their season another day. All right, it's after further review. Thanks to Toby Rowland for joining us. Shay Dixon was here in hour number 1 talking a little Cruton. If you missed that, you can catch it on demand. 15 minutes. We'll talk to Zach Braziler. Braziller? Braziler?
Braziller. I mean, that's how it's spelled. We'll ask him.
We're definitely going to ask him.
Yeah.
He's going to talk about R.J. Lewis, who was the Big East Player of the Year last year at St. John's, went undrafted, hasn't played in the G League yet, but apparently is committed to Will Wade and the Tigers, and will have apparently an uphill fight to gain or regain his collegiate eligibility. So we'll talk about that with Zach coming up here in about 15 minutes. All right, Muse to do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next. Stick around.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. Remember, when you call River City's 1 hour air, they're just the best. They're going to take awesome care of you. Their technicians are expertly trained. They'll come out to your house. They'll get the job done right at a fair price. It's one of the things I always love to tell you about is that they're going to give you, you're going to find this, they're not going to force service upon you. They're not going to try to upsell you anything. They're going to give you 3 options. They're going to give you a good, better, and best option and let you make the decision based on whatever your family's situation budget might be. Mitchell McGuire sent this 5-star Google review. Cody was awesome, very knowledgeable, nice, good work, really equipped, easy, decent price for everything he fixed for us. Very grateful to have air again. And I had back surgery recently. One night without air was enough for me. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks. But
Thomas on the text line. Thomas on the text line. Yeah, for like $10.
Another one.
He goes, oops, wrong text.
It's all right, Thomas. We appreciate it.
What do you think the $10 was for?
I don't know, man.
He's agreeing to something, clearly.
He said, yeah, for like $10.
He said, yeah, for like $10.
Maybe he's going to buy something from somebody?
That's what I'm saying. Well, of course.
Yeah.
Like, he's agreeing to a price. It's just like what do you think he's buying for $10?
$10. It's pretty cheap these days, man.
Ain't going to Taco Bell for $10, tell you that much.
No, you're not. Figured that out a couple weeks ago.
It's crazy. I'm old enough to remember 59-cent tacos. 69 cents if you got the soft tacos. I mean, you could walk in there with a 20 and eat like a king. Not no more.
The Taco 12 pack in general used to be like $10.
Crazy. I don't care what that meat came from. It tastes good. I mean, there was a time I'd roll up in there, give me 3 soft tacos, 3 Doritos Locos tacos, and a Mountain Dew. I mean, like, here's $6. Keep the change.
Keep the change.
Now they're like, that'll be $37.50. What? Crazy.
No lies told.
All right, Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, Dylan Cruz is back in the show.
Hey!
Called up by the Washington Nationals last night. He will make his season debut for the Nats tonight. He's in the lineup starting in center field, batting 6th against the Mets. 155 at-bats in AAA this season, hit .258 with 5 bombs and 20 RBI. See if he can stick up there this time around. Alex Lang on the bump last night for Kansas City in relief. 1 inning pitched, 3 hits, an earned run. Didn't walk anybody and punched out 1. Gave the deciding run there in that ball game. They made it 3-1, and they never looked back. Hunter Fiducia.
Our guy.
Pinch hit opportunity a night ago for the Rays and just a romp of the Orioles. He went 1 for 1 in that opportunity. It was a single for Fiducia. He's hitting .265 here so far in the regular season. Jaden Hill got his 9th hold of the season for the Rockies. They beat the Rangers. And then in the third, struck out 3. Didn't walk anybody. Didn't give up any hits. His great season continues. And then lastly, Aaron Anderson has officially signed a deal with the Cleveland Browns. Undrafted rookie. Was on with Cleveland in a tryout basis, or I should say on a tryout basis in rookie minicamp. Now officially signed, will wear number 85 as they get set for OTAs. That's Tigers and Pros.
Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know, a lot of people will trade in their old diamond for an upgrade, like Beyonce said. Let me upgrade you. But really, if you got an anniversary coming up, I mean, think about it. You know, whenever you get engaged, generally, I mean, this is the case for me, probably for a lot of people, you're young, maybe not as far along in your career as you might be as you get older. By the time you hit a 10-year anniversary, 20, 25-year anniversary, maybe it's your 50-year anniversary, maybe you could take that diamond and upgrade it. Lee Michaels will trade in your old diamond, put toward the purchase of a new diamond. New, bigger, beautiful diamond. Look at Lee Michaels. Scott goes all over the world, goes to India every year on these diamond buying trips where, you know, he's buying for 9 different stores. So he's formed great relationships. He gets unmatched quality. He can pass along great prices to you as well because at Lee Michaels, they're buying for 9 locations. Go shop today. Any of their locations. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. 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 For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text if you want to text us like Thomas did. Even if it's just texting me, what you're spending $10 on. You can do it. Jeremy said he's buying a little bag. Musso knows all about that. Sorry, Muse, you can deny it. Quiet over there. Silence equals guilt.
AFR.
All right, Hour 3 is coming up here just after SportsCenter. Brought to you by Supper Club. Hey, Supper Club's back open. It's Tuesday. 1 week ago tonight, I was over at Supper Club. Had a great dinner with a client, and, man, we had an awesome night. Listen, every time you go into Supper Club, you can have a different experience, even if you've been a bunch and you feel like you've had everything on the menu. Like, I mean, I've had everything on the menu by now. But every time you go in, for example, the Segrera cows, we talk about it all the time. They buy from Sean Segrera at Segrera Farms in Ethel. They get the full cow and butcher it there on premise at Supper Club. So every time you go, you can have whatever that night's Segrera cut is. So maybe sometimes it's bone-in ribeye, maybe it's filet, maybe it's flank steak. Maybe, you never know what it might be on that night that chef is serving up. And every time you get a different Segrera cow, it's a different experience. It's at Supper Club. Get on by tonight or any night at supperclubbtr.com.